Good morning, afternoon and evening, my crazies. My name's Angela and I'm the Crazy Poppy Lady, and I would like to welcome you back to another tutorial. Now this one is for my very first baby hat. Now there's a little cutie here, is one that will match in beautifully with the Biddy baby blanket, which is why I'm calling this the Biddy baby hat. Simples, done and dusted. Right, so let's start off by me showing you the measurements of this hat. Okay, so this one is 5.5 inches wide by 5 inches in height. Okay, now I haven't got a wee one to try it on, but it does look like it's a nice wee size. Okay, now I have also cheekily put a little mini button in my hat as well, so that it holds this fluffy pom-pom on, but the pom-pom can then be taken off before it's washed. Right, so the yarn I used for this hat is actually the King Cole Riot double knit. Now I'm going to put a link up here, and that is to the yarn review for the King Cole Riot. And then for the itty bitty blanket, there is a link up there, and that will take you through to this pattern as well. Now for this pattern I did in fact use the Cascade yarn and pinwheel, but this can no longer be brought. So because I had some Riot to hand, I thought I would give it a go and see what it looked like and what it worked up like, and they worked up very similar. The only difference being this was 100% acrylic and this is an acrylic wool mix. Right, but you're not interested in all that stuff, are you? You want me to stop the gabbing and tell you what you're going to need. Right, so you are going to need some yarn. It doesn't look like a lot, but that's nice and tightly wound. There's about 25 to 30 grams. I haven't weighed it, so your best bet is just to pick out a new ball. Right, you are going to need a 4mm hook, and you're also going to need stitch markers if you need them, and a darning needle, and a little button, and some sewing thread, and a needle. But I haven't got those extra bits to hand. Alright, so let's get on with the pattern. Okay, so for this one we are going to start by making a magic ring. Lots of us do it in lots of different ways. I wrap my yarn around my finger, as you saw there, 2 complete cycles, because I find that by doing it this way it doesn't unravel as quick, if at all. Right, so I hook under, pull up my yarn, hook under both, hook under both, pull up my yarn and turn my hand slightly and pick up that very first strand again and pull back. So I've got 2 loops on my hook, then I hook over and pull through. Okay, now I am going to chain 1 and then place 12 double crochets into the magic ring. This chain 1 does not count as a stitch, so it's 12 double crochets into the loop. Right, I will meet you back here in a moment when you have done all 12. Right, so here we go. I believe I've got my 12 at best count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Beautiful. Right, now to close the magic ring, and take your tail and give it a gentle tug, and you will see one of these 2 strands closing. Okay, so you take it from the top there and you pull that one that's the shortest until your circle is partly closed. Then you grab your tail again and pull the yarn through so it closes the tail. Remember you don't have to worry too much about leaving a little gap here. You want enough so that you can fit a crochet hook through, basically. That way you know you're going to be able to thread your pom-pom in later. Okay, and pop your yarn back on the hook, and this is a good time to count backwards and find your 12th stitch. we're going to place our hook into that 12th stitch, making sure that you pick up both parts of the V. Hook over and pull through your yarn and finish off as a slip knot, or a slip stitch, sorry. Now we're going to chain up 1. Again, this chain 1 does not count. I also like to work over my yarn at this point as well. So I'm going to hook over and we are going to place 2 double crochets into each of the 12 stitches. So that is a double crochet increase into each stitch around. Okay. When you finish this, you should have a stitch count of 24. Okay, so again, that is 2 double crochets into each stitch around. I will meet you back here when you finish this round. Right, so here we are at the end of round 2, where we are going to slip stitch to the top of the first stitch to close off the round. Now we chain 1 and back into that same place. We are going to place an increase. So that is 2 double crochets in the same spot. Into our next stitch, we are going to place a double crochet. This is our repeat all the way around. So that is an increase followed by a double crochet. So I'll show you that again. That's a double crochet increase in this stitch, and then just a double crochet all on his own self in the next one. Increase, one on his own, and you're going to complete that pattern all the way around. You should end with a single crochet on his own. I'll meet you back here in a moment. Once you get to the end of this row, you should have 36 stitches. Okay, so now we are going to slip stitch into the top of the very first stitch. Okay, and chain up 1, and now we are going to do our next row, which is a double crochet increase into the very first stitch, a double crochet into the next stitch, 1 more double crochet into the following stitch, and then we go back to repeating the pattern, which is our increase, and then 2 double crochets over the next 2 stitches. I'll say that a different way in a second. Right, so and now again we are going to increase. So that's our double crochet increase, and then a double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Okay, and that is our pattern all of the way around. When you get to here, you should have just completed your second single double crochet. Okay, so that's your second double crochet in the set. So again, it is an increase, 2 stitches, increase, 2 stitches. I will meet you back here when you get to the end of this round. Right, so here we are at the end of row 4. So for this one, you should have 48 stitches. Right, so let's slip stitch to the top of that first stitch in the round to close off our round. Right, so and now it's a case of chaining up. Now I'm going to just lay this out and give you a quick measurement, okay? This is to help you out for sizing. If you believe you want your hat to be bigger or smaller, it will depend on the yarn and the hook size you use. So this is your guidance. Mine has a circumference of 3 and a bit. There we go. So it's just one shy on the inch. I'm sorry, I don't actually know how to read inches. I was taught in centimetres. Okay, and so centimetres wise, we are 9.7. Okay, so that is 9.7 on the circumference there. Well, 10, depending on how finicky you're going to be. Okay, so, and that is the end of our increase rounds that I'm showing you today. If you, as I said, if you want to go larger, you can. Right, you'll just have to work out the increase pattern yourself. Right, so I'm being rather cheeky, aren't I? Now on to our next round. Now our next round is lovely and easy. All we're going to do is go all the way around in double crochets. Okay, and no increasing needed. Okay, so that is double crochet in each stitch around. Once you get to the end, you should have the same amount of stitches as you did on the last round. I will meet you back here when we get up to the top. See you shortly. Okay, so here we are at the end of this round. You should have 48 stitches. Once you've got those, slip stitch to the first. Right, so now it's a chain one, and we are going to do a single crochets all the way around for the same count. Once you get to the end of this round, meet me back here. So that is single crochets in each stitch around for a count of 48. Once you have done your 48 single crochet, we will slip stitch to the top of the first stitch in the round, and then we are going to chain up one. Right, so and now we are on to our kisses. So for this one, of course, you're going to chain up one as you would normally. You're going to hook over, and now we are not going to work into this first placement where the chain comes out yet. Okay, that is stitch placement 1. We are going to go into stitch number 2. Okay, pop our hook through, making sure that we pick up both loops. Then we're going to hook over, pull our yarn through, and complete our double crochet as normal. That's the easy one. And now we're going to hook over again, and this time we are going to go behind our double crochet. Oh, sorry, I can't actually see what I'm doing. I'm watching it on screen. Right, so we go behind the double crochet, come up in the little gap, and then we go into stitch number 1. Okay, and then we do our double crochet as normal. Okay, and that will give us our very first kiss, although it's not going to be that perfect yet because it's not attached to anything. So you'll notice as we go along the stitches will become a bit more defined. Right, so now we're going to do our second. So look where that second, the first stitch went in. We're going to skip the next stitch and working into stitch number 4. We're going to do our double crochet. Then we're going to hook over and go underneath and go into stitch number 3, hook over again and do our double crochet. Oops, sorry, I got a bit carried away with that one. I'm going to have to do it again, aren't I? Right, so now we are looking for stitch number 5, which is 4 is there, so that's number 5. We're going to go for double crochet into stitch number 6. Yeah, in there. And then we're going to do our next double crochet working behind into stitch number 5. Okay, and that is what you're going to do all the way around. Okay, so that is skip a stitch, work a double crochet, and then go back and work a double crochet in the skipped stitch. Okay, if you don't get that first time round, don't panic, rewind to this little section. I will put a chapter in to the drop down box so that you can watch this section over and over again if you need to. Okay, so that is skip 2 stitches, skip 1 stitch, place a double crochet into the next stitch, and then a double crochet into the stitch that you skipped. Okay, I will meet you back here once you've completed the round. Okay, so when you end up here, you should be finishing on a back stitch, a back double crochet. Okay, I'll see you back here in a few moments. Right, so and now you've reached the end of this round. You should have 24 crosses. Now we are going to slip stitch to the top of our first stitch, which was the first cross over. Okay, so slip stitch to that. That closes our round. We're going to chain up one. Now we're going to place a single crochet and back in there, and a single crochet in each stitch along. At the end of this round you will have again 48 single crochets. Okay, so make sure you get your stitch into the top of each of the double crochets in the previous row. Okay, once you have done this round, and meet me back here and I'll tell you what to do for the next one. Right, so here we are at the end of the round. So we are going to slip stitch into that first single crochet. Okay, and chain up one. Now we are going to do another round of a single crochet. Okay, so this is the last round of the repeat. Okay, so meet me back here and when you get to the end, and I will tell you the full repeat then. Right, so now we are at the end of the round. We are going to pick up that first stitch and slip stitch to close. Right, let's pop this down so you can see it a little bit better, she says. Right, so this is our stitch repeat here, which is a row of kisses followed by 2 rows of a single crochet. So it's nice and simple. I like simple, don't I? You know that. Right, so let me bring in this larger one, or this other one I should say, because you can see the colours a little bit better in this one. Right, so as you can see we have got this first top section done. In total, for the size of the hat, that's the same size as mine hopefully, you are going to need 3 rows of kisses. Okay, so that's 3 rows of kisses. Now we've already done our first and we're just about to start our second. So I am going to put a timestamp to the beginning of the first row of kisses. Okay, that will be in the description box down below. If you click on that and just the number to the side, it will take you straight back to where you need, so that this whole section here will be explained to you again. But if you don't need that because you've already got it set to memory, remember it is a row of kisses, 2 rows of singles, a row of kisses, 2 rows of singles. Once you've finished that second row of singles on your third total repeat, come back to the video and I will talk you through the last little section. Right, have fun and I will see you soon. Right, so before we start this next row, if you have extended your pattern or you need to add some more length, add some more repeats. Okay, so add some more of the pattern repeats going down until you get the hat pretty much the length that you need. Okay, you are going to be ending up this pattern with one single row of double crochet. Okay, so if you need to make a couple of double crochets so that you know the height of the stitch so you can work it out a bit neater, then go for it. Otherwise, meet me back here in a moment when you get to the end of the round. Right, so we chain up one, and then into the same place as the chain came out, we are going to place a double crochet. Now pop a double crochet in each stitch around. It's a really lovely, easy row yet again. So once you have finished popping in a double crochet in every stitch all the way around, meet me back here. See you soon. Right, so here we are at the end of our double crochet row. So we are just going to slip stitch into the first stitch of the round, chain up 2, cut off enough yarn for sewing in, pull up your yarn, scooch down your little knot, and there we go. It's just a case of sewing in your ends and then your hat is all done. Now for the fun bit, time to choose whether or not you're going to be popping a pom-pom on or not. If you choose to put a pom-pom on, and get yourself a tiny little button and sew it to the side of the magic ring, here in through the stitches there, that's where I place it. And then it means that if you've got elastic or string, you can pull that through the centre hole and then tie it around your button, so it makes it easy for things to be removed for washing. Right, now that is it. That is the end of the Biddy baby hat. I hope you like this tutorial, and I will see you really soon for another one. So have an absolutely lovely day, and don't forget, send me the pictures of your completed items. I love seeing them and I love showing them off. Right, I'm going to head off now. I will see you all really soon, so if you can, please stay in and definitely stay safe. Ta-ra for now, everybody.